not the corner. But I plan to find the time. Yes, I do. 'Cause he looks so fine about that. He was
All right. Good morning, my doggies. It's 6:33. My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com, founder of Red Dog Mindset. Here we are. Interesting morning. So I think a lot of us were playing the video for numbers. I've been talking about this week that I think finally, the year-long consolidation might be enough that they don't need to like kill it, and it could respond well. And at this point, we'll see how it goes. NVIDIA is up 6.2% and 143. We'll see if it holds. Then last night, the court said that, we're not allowed to put tariffs on foreign countries, and then there's an appeal, and then back and forth. I think a lot of this is above all our pay grades, but at least, if you have your system and process and you take risk in a way that, you can handle. There's been a lot of great opportunities to make money on all different time frames. So hopefully you have a cooler head. Some guys got stopped out of their longs on Friday. Some are probably coming in today. And like the bottom line is just gotta, figure it out step by step. There's been a lot of good opportunities, a lot of good setups. At this point, the SPYs are up 7, a little off the highs. Some people are like, hey, Red Dog, are we going back to all-time highs now? I'm like, well, let's see how it goes. Right now, we're opening above 592.77. This is 595.50. We were higher this morning. I think people are trying to sift through this and figure out what does this mean. One of my macro notes is like, well, now the government, the U.S. is gonna give back the money from the tariffs they collected, and then companies have to do this and that. And all I know is we're gonna see how things react. That's what we do as traders, especially as a cocktail napkin technician. You go where the money is, you go where the setups are, you try and follow trends, and you try and give yourself a little bit of room so this way you can stay with names. And at this point, we'll see how it goes. We've been doing pretty well, I'll be honest. I'm back to the highs of my year. NVIDIA right now, this is the levels. We're above 137.50. So I have a 140 calls, call spread on. Here's 143. Then here's 149, and there's 153. We made some money playing it after hours. I said if you can get above, 137.50, you can make some cash flow. And I think we, I traded it up until about 141, and now I'm sitting with a decent call spread. I think power plays, we put it on as a power play also. So it'd be nice if it could hold here. Hold 143, maybe go to 145. That'd be a pretty good sweet spot. And then it'll probably also help, some of the other semis also. And then we'll see how much of today's gap up holds to see if you could actually buy NVIDIA afterwards as an active trader and see if it starts a new move towards those highs. If you go back here, you'll see that in NVIDIA, everyone was talking about, how big the move off the April lows were, but you look back here, to July, we went over this yesterday, I think in the 630 club, we're below where it was, and you've had a full year worth of awesome, huge earnings. So it wasn't really priced that much for perfection. So we'll see how it goes. All in all, so far a good play. Another power play we have on is Amazon. We'll see if, we have the what's it called? What do we have on the 210s? It was as high as 215 the last time we were up here. So we'll see if, it can hold this spot a little bit better and work towards there. If so, those options are going to be worth a lot of money. I am long the stock. I'll probably trim some stock. I'll hold some stock. Right now, Amazon is up 5. I was on with Mesh the other day. We were talking about putting it on as a first power play with his audience, and we did it. And I actually even bought more on Friday when the market was lower. So we'll see if this holds up. There's your 215. Google isn't fantastic, but I've been playing Google pretty well ever since the AI event. I was buying options into here, and then it exploded. That was awesome. And then what you do is you sell options into that move, and then when it pulls back, you roll them higher and stay with it. So that's what we're trying to do with Google, even though it hasn't been so great. It is what it is. I do have some AI on for earnings. I was thinking that maybe, it's done a whole lot of nothing. You have this inverted, kind of head and shoulders pattern where, this is one shoulder, this is the other shoulder. I was just thinking with all the AI hype and with the guy from Siebel running this, it could be worth something. And as of right now, AI is doing pretty well. It's up 17%. So I have on the, what do I have on the $25 call? So this is, this is the virtual trading floor. This is the alpha team. This is where people hang out with me all day long and we try and make money together. So as you can see, I have Amazon, Dash, Google, Palantir, Rum, WRD, which has been good since like 8 Bull. Ethereum, I bought Ethereum yesterday. I bought some IBIT, and then I have a lot of options, like I said before. Which options do I have for NVIDIA? You could see it right here. NVIDIA is the 140s, and I sold the 149s. I actually put on some UNHs also. I have some Palantir options on. I have some Dash for next week. Put on some Ethereum calls for June 20th, which goes out a little bit. AST calls haven't been working, the AI 25. So trying to do it. I do have a SPY hedge on, which I put on after hours yesterday. So I wouldn't mind. And I also sold some premium. I wouldn't mind if we could hold below 595 today so I can keep that. But then I also have the 595s on for the day after, for June 2nd. So trying to thread a lot of needles here and trade, and that's what we do. That's why I get up every day early. That's why I get in my 25-20. That's why I was just in a sauna sweating it out with 200 of my closest friends doing a 20-minute workout, thinking about how to handle the day, how to manage positions, and how to continue to make progress. You don't need perfection. You need progress. You make progress, you can make some money. But anyway, with that being said, we'll see how it goes here. So we'll see. I'll probably be maybe making a call spread today, maybe not. I'm not sure. What else? So again, yeah, I bought a little IBIT back yesterday, even though it feels like everyone's like, oh, it's a breakout failure. I'm like, it's just hitting the 8-day. That's where I could buy some back. I sold a lot of strength. This Ethereum, kind of seems like it could play some catch up. So I did go with a little bit of that. Something I don't have on. I haven't had Ethereum on in a long time, but I feel like a lot of these companies are coming out and they're putting all this crypto on their balance sheet. They can't just put Bitcoin, and I don't think you should go with all the other ones. I do have some small ones on. People are like, why do you have RR on? I had it on from here. I bought a dip, so we'll see if it gets a little bit better. It was added to the small caps. I do have WRD on. I've been buying a dip. I've been long it from here. If you buy it on a dip and sell strength, it looks like it's working its way up towards 15-ish. We'll see. Palantir looks pretty good in the bigger cap names. Nice little bull flag. I'm long some stock. I'm long some options. I would think if we could wake up, that'd be great. I don't know if I'm going to be buying anything on the open. If anything, I'm going to be trimming and trailing and see what happens. I think Dash looks great. Dash is, probably would be a lot higher if they didn't do that convertible, but, they did their convertible, and now we'll see if it could hold, take out this 210 area to see 215. I'm in stock, I'm in options. So we're doing a lot of different things. That's why, again, you got to wake up early. You got to get yourself set. You got to do your chart work. You have to know your levels. You have to know how you're looking to manage your positions. So when things are moving, you know what you have to do. But I've been doing it for 28 plus years. That's why I'm trying to help you guys figure that out. Let's see what some of the dogs say from around the world. Tappan says, good morning from Portugal. Space Specialist is up working on his process. We got Kevin from Florida. It's loves his Ethereum. What up, baby boo? We got an ONON. All right. I haven't been in ONON in a while. Boom. By the way, you guys could write stuff in on YouTube to me, on Twitter to me, and sometimes you guys give some good ideas that we go over here, which is pretty cool. Or you could just say good morning because you've been tuning into the 630 Club since the pandemic. I've been doing this now for 5 years for free, actually. So hopefully you've created some value for you, made you some money. I found a lot of like-minded individuals here too that spend the whole day with me on the virtual trading floor. So it's been cool. What up, Tony Wallace? Didn't get to see you in Florida. I apologize. Let's see what else. Uber hasn't been doing great. I think Rum, people kind of aren't really, excited about this one lately. I have it on. I bought the dip here. I feel like Rumble's been buying Bitcoin since a lot of us. Somebody like, well, they sold GME. I'm like, well, GME, we were buying it at 28. I told you guys to, to sell yesterday, not buy. I think Rumble, still as not as a focus trade, is a decent trade. Meta looks pretty good. Yeah, Meta. Meta. The whole market's kind of sloppy. Meta held the gap. You have 654. You have 662. I think it might be hard to buy anything on the open. Again, the question that I have is, are we going to hold or fade? This whole news, like probably shouldn't be up this much based on the court news that's being counteracted and blah blah blah. All I know is, can we hold 592.77? That's one thought. Can we get above and stay above 595? If we do, then all of a sudden we're back towards the highs of the year that we spent a lot of time in the end of 2024 in. At this point, things are still just kind of figuring it out. Let's go back to the SPYs. The SPYs right now at 594.65. NVIDIA is at 143. AI is at 27. I like that look right there. And it's Thursday of a holiday week. Hopefully everyone's doing well. It's May 29th. We'll see how they want to end May and then see if some new flows come in for June. If you have short in the brain and you just keep shorting this market and you're losing money because you're like, this isn't going to end well. This isn't going to end well is not a trading plan. You got to figure out a process on how to execute this. This isn't going to end well. For right now, we're actually moving forward. And that's really it. Actually, it's interesting. Today's May 29th. This is the year anniversary. I had my actual heart surgery, and here I am a year later. So what do I have to say about that? Well, things happen. You have to deal with them and go with them. Sometimes you don't appreciate things until they're gone, whether it's your eyesight, whether it's your smell, whether it's a finger. So have some gratitude on things you have, and work on things you want. And in time, if you put in the work, the universe will let you know that you're doing a good job, and it will reward you. But if you're making mistakes and not working on your process, and you're not doing things you need to do, universe knows, and you're not going to be happy with where you're going. So anyway, with that being said, we'll see what today brings. I got to get going. I got a lot going on here. I will not be here tomorrow. I'm heading to Florida to see my mom. That's a different story we're not going to talk about. And we'll see how we can manage the process today and keep managing the process moving forward, and evolve yourself and evolve your process if you're not happy where you are. I'll see you guys in a bit.